Yeah, I mean, something of this magnitude doesn't happen very easily. And so, while some of those conversations in Kent County go back a decade, for this to really come to fruition in the kind of right pre-pandemic is pretty amazing. And every time I walk through the facility, I'm just humbled by the opportunity that we're going to have to serve the community. And it's just an incredible blessing. And so knowing. So we went ahead and we broke ground on the site work June 30th and celebrated that. And so that's probably 80% complete. Our hope is to break ground on the facility at the end of this year. We're, as we talked about, we're trying to navigate, whereas this facility was well on its way. And so now we're dealing with supply chain issues with flooring and kind of finishing pieces. Supply chain issues for new construction looks vastly different with access to steel and other materials. Not only is it challenging, but it's astronomically more expensive at this very moment. So we're trying to navigate that. Would love to be started by the end of this year, early next. But that project's well on its way, and that I can think back to going to some meetings in Queen Anne's County all the way back to when I first moved here in '05. So that one's been on the radar as an opportunity and a chance to really make an impact for a long time. And the fact that it's taken a while, and now we'll include a senior center as a part of that. We've seen how strong that model is in St. Michael's, where you're bringing everyone together. The county senior center in Centreville closed back in, I believe, 2012. So to have that reemergence is important with all those programs working together. And then I've got a daughter who's a junior there at St. Michael's High School, and so to see that Y really be a hub of that community is just a real blessing. And to know, that was a dream years ago. It took a lot of work to get it. It's great, and it gives, if you go there after school to see all the kids that are there, and then of course, that Y is serving three out of 4 people every week in St. Michael's in the Bay Hundred area. And while the pandemic had an impact on everyone, including the YMCA, and the variant had its impact too, we're really kind of seeing some positive trends. We're back to about 88% of what our membership and participation was prior to the pandemic. So we're getting close. Hopefully by spring of next year, we'll be back to where we were pre-pandemic. But the Y is, I always call it the front porch, right? And so in these communities where there's gaps and not a place to really feel like you belong and connect, to see that come to fruition, where you're creating that space where people can get loved on and cared for and just know they're part of something bigger than themselves is a good thing. So it's, I'm just, every time I go in, drop her off in the morning and pick her up at the Y after school, I just count my blessings. We still have communities like Caroline County where we have a storefront, and the county has offered us land to build a Y there, but we don't have a path on how to do that yet. And so we're hopeful that that angel gift will present itself at some point, and we can figure that one out too. And then in Dorchester County at the Robbins Y, we're looking at a renovation and expansion plan there. That's a Y that plays an important role in that community, but is limited in its space and capacity. And so we really want to make sure that we're in a better position to serve Cambridge and the greater Dorchester County. Yeah, same property, reconfiguring some of the existing spaces to be more usable for programmatic spaces, and then building a new wellness center. The wellness center there is pretty small in comparison to the number of people we serve, and it's limited in its ability to run some of the chronic disease programming that we talked about. And so building a new wellness center there then frees up other space to reorient the building, add some additional parking, more spaces for programs for youth and adults. So really kind of a big overhaul of that facility and expansion. As we work on closing out the capital campaign for Kent County and Queen Anne's County, that's kind of next on our list, and still ever mindful of trying to figure out how we address Caroline County is key for us. Down in Pocomoke, we have cabins and have been blessed really kind of leverage that 100-acre site to give kids camping experiences and families, but we don't have a dining hall, so we need to build that. So then we're working on a gymnasium in Chesapeake to expand work there too. So there's always things that we're working on and to tackle, as well as in Cecil County, a renovation plan there to be in a better position to meet today's needs of the greater Cecil County community too. So, and then we've even been supporting some work in St. Mary's County, which is across the bridge there, Southern Maryland, that area. There are no Ys in St. Mary's County, and really in Southern Maryland. So spent a little time over there helping a dedicated group of volunteers and local commissioners kind of navigate what that could look like. And so they're in that early exploration stage, but we feel like it's the right thing to do to try to help them figure that out. There was a reset with the pandemic, right? So everything looks a little different post-pandemic, and we're still kind of in the back end of that. The short answer is yes. I mean, unfortunately, I spent some time in Houston prior to moving here. It was a $100 million Y with 40 locations, and so you get a chance to see what a large organization functions like. There's benefits to that and challenges to that. The challenge of a really large organization is limited flexibility in that you've just got layers, and it's more like I would liken it to a barge, a big barge. Still tremendously impactful over a massive geography and millions of people. On the Eastern Shore, our greatest challenge is geography, because you have a Y in Cecil County going all the way down to Chesapeake, so you got this 3-hour drive kind of span. And so for us, it's making sure we have key local volunteers that are really making sure those local YMCAs are meeting local community needs, that we've got a centralized staff of experts that can provide the resources necessary to make sure those local Ys have what they need, whether that's through hiring or finance or programmatic expertise, membership expertise, and fundraising too. And so we, as we go, we're trying to make sure we remain nimble and we function like a small Y, but we have the resources of what a bigger Y would look like. And so having seen kind of all that over the years helps you really kind of game plan what that looks like. And doesn't mean we get it right all the time, but yeah, I mean, we're as a not-for-profit, as any not-for-profit is, we work really hard. We probably lean on the understaffed side than the overstaffed, just because we want to make sure as much of the resources that we have can go to directly serving people. But